Good evening, everyone, and happy Halloween, All Hallows Eve. We are so excited that you are here. My name is Katie Gideon, and I will be your host this evening for our exclusive Halloween Sonder Social party, where we're going to have some tricks as well as some treats. So hopefully you're not tired of me yet, because I feel like you've seen me every day this week. But not only do you have me, you have the wonderful Maya, who is going to be in the chat for this event. So we are so excited. I am dialing in from Houston, Texas. Maya is dialing in from Colorado. And we, like I said, super excited to have this. I got to host the Halloween party last year, so I'm super excited to do this. One of my favorite Halloween costumes is a witch. So you got my kind of version of it tonight. But welcome. Make sure you have your chat set to everyone so you can hang out with our Sonder fam. And then everyone who has shown up today, we have already entered you into the self-care raffle. And we are so excited because I definitely want to see all of your costumes posted later in the Sonder app to go along with, again, mine. So we are still embracing the last day of this month's theme, which is surrender. So if you already kind of had kind of a sneak peek at the November, you can also use that theme as well. I'm going to keep it a bit of a secret until you've gone full blown into it. But we're super excited to kind of close out with this super fun event. We're going to have a welcome activity to just kind of get the fun spooky vibe going. Then we're going to launch into kind of three of our exclusive activities. We'll give you some tips and tricks along the way, as well as some examples. And really, we're here to hang out and have a fun time. Going to be, again, a little bit different than usual, but still on kind of the self-reflection side. So we are glad you're here, and we are super excited to get started. So the first activity we're going to do is a little bit of a game. It's going to be horror movie quotes. So I am going to provide a couple quotes, and I want you to think of what movie the quote is from, and then you get kind of bonus if you can know the character that said the quote, not the actor, actress, but the character. So please turn to a blank page and number 1 through 5. And then I'm going to read through all of the quotes first, and then I'm going to give you some time to work on it. And then I want you to write your answers down on the page. Don't share them in the chat yet. And then once I tell you, you can share them into the chat as we go. So again, turn to a blank page 1 through 5. I'm going to read through the quotes. You write down what you think the movie is from and who you think said it. And then I'll give you some time to kind of think on it, and then we'll share them as a group. But again, just our little warm activity. So for the first one, number 1, do you like scary movies? Number 2, they're here. Number 3, you can't kill the boogeyman. Number 4, well, on Sundays I used to go hiking, but now. And the last one, a boy's best friend is his mother. So again, here are the 5 quotes. Gonna turn some music on, let you start thinking. Don't put your answers in the chat yet. We'll read through them. But if you can name the movie and the character that said it, and we'll check right back in. Okay, welcome back. Let's see if they were a little tricky. We are going to go ahead and go through. I'll read again the quote and then I'll give you the answers. So for the first one, it was, do you like scary movies? And you can go ahead and put the answers in the chat. Yes, yes. So seeing quite a few coming in, and the first answer is Scream. And that was indeed Ghostface, or the bad guy, who was voiced by Roger L. Jackson. Awesome. Okay, so the second one, number 2. They're here. This particular movie terrified me. This is still one of the scariest movies I've seen. And yes, seeing all the answers, it is indeed Poltergeist. It is Carol Ann, who was played by Heather O'Rourke. Okay, and number 3, you can't kill the boogeyman. Ooh, so I got a couple. This one, I think, yeah, this one's a little trickier. Okay, I see one of the answers, and it is indeed from Halloween, the original Tommy, which was the little boy that Jamie Lee Curtis was babysitting. Awesome. Okay, so the fourth one, also, I think it's a little tricky. And it's, well, on Sundays, I used to like to go hiking, but now. Yeah, see, this one was a little tricky, and I know quite a few people hadn't seen it. It's definitely one of those visually a little jarring from the 90s. And they were kind of out in the woods hiking. It was the Blair Witch Project, and Heather Donahue said it, which I thought was just kind of ironic with the whole hiking thing, since we all like to go out to hike to self-reflect. Apparently hiking was not the thing to do. And the last one is one of my personal favorites, and that is, a boy's best friend is his mother. And indeed, it was Psycho. But fun fact about Psycho, Norman Bates did say it. So Anthony Perkins, who played the original, did you know Vince Vaughn played Norman Bates? He's super creepy. So it was one of the first movies I saw Vince Vaughn in. So you cannot convince me that Vince Vaughn is a comedy actor, because if you haven't seen his version of Psycho, whew, little tricky. So just a fun way to kick it off. Don't worry if you kind of had a rough time with these. I know horror movie is not everybody's genre, but this was, again, just a fun little exercise. So now we're going to get into the other fun stuff of why you are here. So please, again, go ahead and turn to a blank page in your journal. This is going to be our trick or treat activity. So we're going to make a T-chart. So on that T-chart, we're going to do tricks on the top of one column and treats on the top of the other column. So again, this is going to be any blank page in your notebook. It can be your October journal or your November journal, but we're going to draw a T-chart and we're going to put tricks on one side and treats on the other. And so under the trick idea, we want to write down maybe some behaviors or habits that do not serve us or that stand in the way of being a best version of yourself. I know. That is assuming that we have blank pages. So always short of blank pages, grab a scrap paper, use any of your weekly planner spaces, anything to kind of get the idea. We're going to do, again, kind of the tricks on one side. So these are habits or behaviors that do not serve you, stand in the way of being the best version of yourself. And then under the treats side, you can counter each trick with a positive statement or create new habits that do serve you. So there are a couple ideas kind of on the spooky theme on the left. But here is my example. My tricks are on the left, treats are on the right. And so one of the example is not enough time to focus on something. So that's where my treat needs to be. I need to reprioritize what is important, but also be flexible on what the answer is, because just because it was a priority the previous week doesn't mean it's going to be the priority this week. Same thing with trying to solve problems that aren't yours. That is a trick that I fall into every single time. And so my treat or the reminder that I need to do is to remove myself from the unimportant and allow others to solve their own problems and only ask when helpful. So again, we're going to do that kind of T-chart. Another way to look at it is you can also create a list of safety rules for the trick or treat. You know, we always have safety rules when you go out trick or treating as a child. And I'm pretty sure all of our parents and grandparents out there have safety rules as well. So it's a way to kind of set some of those boundaries for yourself. And then we always want to focus on the treats, not the tricks, but at least acknowledging that tricks can happen. And we want to figure out a way to not fall subject to them. So I'm going to give you some time to work on this. Let us know your tricks and your treats, or maybe some of your rules when dealing with tricks or rewarding with treats. I will scroll through the previous slides as well. So I will check back in. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your amazing treats and your approaches to how you counteract some of those tricks. I saw some people kind of treating this as a brain dump. I think you're going to get a lot of treat and trick isms tonight, so I apologize. I feel like someone needs to keep track of how many times I say those. But a trick with these type of things is to do a brain dump. And so a brain dump is basically just start writing. Don't edit yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Don't think about it. Just write down all those thoughts and ideas, because a lot of approaches when it comes to these type of duality self-reflections is that you edit yourself a little too much, when really and truly just getting started is going to be the best approach to this. And just because you have a whole list of tricks or a whole list of treats doesn't mean they have to go back and forth to each other. But the opportunity to just throw all the ideas in there is usually a great way to start with some of these prompts. But I loved seeing a couple of the other ones that were highlighted. The trick was a people pleaser, and then the treat was progress, not perfection. Another really good trick was social media scrolling before bed, and then the treat is maybe reading a book instead, which usually makes folks dozy. For a trick, lacking motivation to work out, fall into that category. Watch a favorite show only during the workout session, absolute motivation. So what I think is really fun about these, again, T-charts, huge fan of T-charts when it comes to all these type of approaches, but the fact that you can identify, a challenge or something that's negative, and then you can right across from it do a complete connection for something that is positive and what is rewarding. So thank you for everyone sharing your trick or treats. And I'm going to say it again, go ahead and find another blank page. You don't have a blank note page, then you can use a scratch paper or any of those things, because now we are going to do a spider web wish. So again, turn to a blank notes page if you have it. If you don't, scratch page is perfectly fine. Another section, or just kind of combine all these pieces. Or if you have just like a spare one, you can draw your little tiny web in the corner. But what we're going to do is we're going to draw the start of a spider web. You can also draw yourself as a spider and kind of, or any of the other insects that could be caught inside spider web. But within the web, we want to write all of the things you want to attract in your life. So here's my example. Tried to get a little too creative. I was having Charlotte's Web vibes. So I started, and then I realized she couldn't read some of them. So I was like, okay, I need some of our more calligraphy inclined folks for that. But you can always use the theme for October, which is surrender. So some of those things that you want to attract in your web. Not only can you think of this as things that you want to attract, but maybe things that you want to have stick, which I thought was a really great approach that Maya suggested. It's not only do I want to attract some of these things, but I also want to hold them in place, because this is what I want to work with. Keeping in mind that these can always be phrases, affirmations, quotes, and stickers. But you could also think of it as maybe something you want to capture, as opposed to, attract, capture, two different mantras. Or even another way is maybe it's a pest to remove from your area or ecosystem. You know how they get caught in the web in the process, and maybe that's something that we want to have to get caught so that we can remove it or surrender it. So going to draw again some of those web vibes. You can do any sort of design when it comes to that. This was just my simplified version. I am the cute little purple spider. I saw that not everyone is spider fan. I'm not really a spider fan, but I do like spiders better than snakes. Snakes are my absolute, I don't do snakes. So again, we are looking for different ways that we can attract things in our life within our web. So again, I'm going to give you some time to work on this. Let us know what some of the things you want to attract, or maybe some of the pests you want to get rid of. I saw mosquitoes were in there. Definitely want to get rid of the mosquitoes. And we will check back in. Thank you, everyone, for sharing all of your wonderful things that you want to attract in your web, as well as sharing some of those things you want to capture and potentially get rid of. I noticed that someone said they filled in all of their squares, and I was like, oh no, what are they talking about? And then I realized that you literally make squares. So clearly I have some work to do. So I'm going to come up with a few more things that I want to capture or attract. But you guys came up with such great answers. Saw a couple with wanting to attract energy, calm, good vibes. I loved that someone was going to capture their inner critic. That is genius. I need to capture that little bugger and get rid of it. I saw a couple of wanting to attract some order, some self-love, gratitude, as well as positive outlook. I think all of these are really fun. And I think, again, as you can see, I only made it about halfway through. So I'm going to go back and fill in all of my squares, maybe still a little Charlotte's Webby, just because I thought that was fun. But then I also saw that I think my spider had a little too much caffeine today. So it got way too creative, got to rein him in just a little bit. But again, this is something you can continue to work on. And again, all those different approaches of what are the little things you want to capture in the little cocoons to get rid of, things you want to attract, but also the opportunity to kind of embrace those things that you want, acknowledge the things that you don't. And what's kind of magical about, again, a spider is you can always make a new web. So you can always attract more things, new things, change your approach, change your design. So again, moving into our next category. So again, find another blank page. I know we don't have them. We're working on it. But if not, just grab a scratch piece of paper. Or for those of you that still have your October and haven't finished your pumpkin patch, you can put some of these Halloween candy affirmations. I love this idea. It is super cute, super creative. Don't get any credit for this. It's going to be a shout out to potentially Jennifer O, who is in our chat, one of our other amazing facilitators. But what we're going to do is we're going to think of 5 to 10 candy affirmations. Or if you don't want to do the candy affirmations, you can design your own candy bar or sweet treat. So when you're saying, Katie, what do we mean by this Halloween candy affirmation? Well, think of your favorite candy and write some of the sweet affirmations. So for example, being a smarty gives me confidence to take on the world. I come through in a crunch, or I am worth 100 grand and deserve kisses and hugs, or my commitments are aligned with my values. So again, kind of come up with some fun Halloween candy affirmations using the candy names, candy brands. Don't worry, on the next slide, I've got a couple for you if you can't think of any. And again, write down some of those positive affirmations. If you can't quite come up with those positive affirmations, then you can make your own candy bar. I always feel like I lean towards a Crunch bar or Kit Kat bar, so I was trying to work a way to incorporate my name, but it seemed a little unoriginal with like a Kit Kate. Neither here nor there. But Teresa's already going with it. I Tootsie roll with the punches. Love it. So this is your opportunity to be as creative as you want when it comes to the Halloween candy affirmations. Don't worry, I'll scroll back and forth between a couple of these slides because I've got a whole list of candy brands. So you can sit there and do it, but I'm already seeing some amazing suggestions. Gonna stop talking. Gonna go check on my cauldron over there, and I will be right back. You all are so creative and so punny. It was hilarious. This is a super fun exercise, and I am so impressed. You all are my all heroes at how quickly you came up with some of these. They were so clever, but also really great positive affirmations. With I deserve to take 5. I always have fun with my peeps. I have fun with all of you guys. I am the atomic bomb at being creative. I choose you, my peeps. I will accept 0 excuses to be my own lifesaver. And I am proving by dots and dots. And Maya provided a super fun one, which was learn to Rolo with the punches. You guys, this was super fun. I appreciate all of your positive affirmations. But can you believe that we have come to the end of our social? So thank you for humoring me and attending my little gathering. We're so glad you were here. We're so glad that you chose to spend this hour of self-reflection on you, as well as having some fun. Please either use the link in the chat or scan the QR code to take the survey. We read everything. We appreciate the feedback. That is also how we get these amazing socials, the opportunity to have exclusive socials, themed socials. As Jennifer always says, one of our facilitators, we love a good theme. So please fill out your survey. If you are not already on the Sonder Club app, please join us there. I would love to see all of your pictures, especially of your fun spider webs, your trick-or-treat tea charts, and then of course your candy affirmations. And then for those of you that are also asking, the YouTube link for this recording should be up in a couple days. But we are again super excited that you joined us. I hope you had a great time. I certainly had a great time, and I want to thank Maya for being my amazing co-facilitator on this. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Halloween and a wonderful rest of the week. The next slide will be my playlist, and I'll go back through if anyone needs to see some of the activities, let me know in the chat, and I will certainly go back to those slides. But we are gonna dance our way out. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
I was just a little ghoul when I heard his name. He's the graveyard legend of the dancing game. Rumor has it he invented how to knock 'em dead. He's the reason that we all say break a leg. When the sun goes down, all the ghosts come out. Zombies rise up from the ground. Monsters come from all the lands just to see the bones on skeleton sand. Dance, dance, dance the way he move you in a trance, trance, trance. Ooh, we make you wanna dance, dance, dance until you can. Shaking every bone like skeleton sand. Every bone is double jointed, he can twist them all. Spin his head on his finger like a basketball. No one knows where he's from, but I heard he's the king of the Lafayette Cemetery, New Orleans. When the werewolves howl and the witches fly, that's when you know Sam's nearby. When you hear the sound of a million screams, they're probably watching him on Ghost TV.